9. Is it permitted to water detached plants on Shabbat so they will not wilt? Yeah. So, Bechor, you remember in the morning we finished off saying that a person is allowed to take flowers on Shabbat and put them inside the water, even though the flowers are closed, and because of the water they're going to open. Unlike the Ashkenazim. Ashkenazim say closed flower you're not allowed to put inside the water. And their logic is the same thing the Shulchan Aruch says you're not allowed to take avocado seed, that it's closed. Put it in the water and the root is going to come out of it. So you're taking something closed, it's going to open, the root's going to come out. This is your grandson?
Which one?
This Chacham?
No, this Chacham name was name of my father, Nisan.
Your grandson?
No,
Nephew.
nephew.
Okay, so so same thing is the avocado. You took avocado and you made it, boom. Take out the roots. It's a problem. Those are some flowers. You take the closed flower, you put it in water, it become open. That's why it's a problem. Comes Ovadia Yosef says, I'm sorry. There is a difference between the avocado root and the flowers. What's the difference? Yaakov John. The difference is that the root, avocado seed, right? The root was not existing. Putting in the water, you make something not existent become existent. However, in the flower, you had a closed flower, and then you have open flower. It's the same leaves, same petals. You didn't make something new. It's like you had a door closed, and you opened the door that was closed. You opened the door. What's the problem? You can say, oh, you right now took an open, closed door. You made an open door. What's the problem? My English, even Bechor understands. So you guys can understand also. If I pass Bechor test, I pass everybody's test. Yaakov Hamidim, you with me?
Yes, sir.
Very good. You see, Bechor, that's the best yeshiva. Without 50 gram, 150 gram, you see, everybody listening. When there is 150 gram, Hashem Erachem, there is 150 words, and not nobody hears it.
Yeah, exactly.
Alcohol. You already said. Bechor, I'm very, very not hungry, but in your kavod, I said bracha. You see? Mitzvah deoraita, ve'ahavta lere'acha kamor. To respect somebody else as you want people to respect you. If you set up a table, Lilu Nishmat, people come, oh, I'm full. What did I set it up for? Nachon? So in the kavod of the person, you take a little bit, you say bracha tamor. For people to be fulfilling the mitzvah Lilu Nishmat also. Okay, now number 9, Bechor. Question is like this. Mr. Pinchasov, what if a person has plants that they are detached, not attached into the ground, detached from the ground, and they are staying outside, they're going to dry out. In order for it not to dry out, Hagai John, a person wants to make water. Spray water on them.
Okay.
Is he allowed to on Shabbat?
On Shabbat?
On Shabbat.
On top, not on the roots.
Yeah, on top. And it's detached from the ground. You don't want it to be dried out. After the Shabbat, 3-day holiday, it's going to dry out. You want to keep it fresh. You know, when you go to the store, they have a special sprinkle system. When you buy it, look at it, they're always making it wet for it to look fresh. But not much fresh, it's already 1 week over there. Is that allowed to do on Shabbat or no? This spray at home.
I mean, a root's not gonna grow because of that.
Yeah, not gonna grow. Says the Rashba. The Rashba wrote that it is permitted to water the detached
Flowers.
on Shabbat, so it will not wilt. You know that word in English? Wilt?
Wilt.
Yeah. As long as it is fit for eating today. When are you allowed to? Only whenever it is edible. Since it is not muktzeh. Oh, Davey, finally you made it. איפה אתה, Davey?
לעילוי נשמת.
We missed you.
סקל?
Since it is not muktzeh, this by default. You don't need to say. Don't need to bother people with that. By default, people brought it lilu nishmat. It's by default lilu nishmat. Каждый раз lilu nishmat. Еще хуже делайте. Не делать, говорите это каждый. Family Chagai. One time we learned it with you. Bechor boret lilu nishmat. It's by default lilu nishmat. Bechor tomorrow, Be'ezrat Hashem, you're going to build yeshiva for your father's name. Amen, Skaji, you never know.
Amen.
You're going to put yeshiva, Leilu Nishmat, Nison, Itzhako. Any student is going to go inside. He has to say, I'm going inside, Leilu Nishmat, Itzhak. I have to say that or no? Why? You build the yeshiva, Leilu Nishmat.
You master.
Or another guy, in Bet Gabriel, he sponsored the mikveh for the men. He made it over there, mikveh Ariel. Now any person goes in the mikveh, you have to say, I go inside the mikveh, le'atzlacha, of the sponsor Ariel, so and so. You have to say that? No, why? By default already. Same thing is with all the Ilu Nishmat. Anytime a person lights candles, you go to your shul, light candles. Right? You have to say, oh, no mashchel bu, go ahead, go ahead. No need that, don't need that. You take food. Oh, tell us the name. Say it, da minut rav, tell us the name. 10 minutes of the class of the Divrei Torah are gone because tell us the name. And they're mispronouncing it, and they're saying it a million times. Sometimes they go like this. Bracha, whatever they say bracha, then Lilu Nishmat so and so. After the bracha, that's why I tell the people, Rabotai, this was sponsored, Leilu Nishmat. It's a by default Leilu Nishmat. Don't need to mention the name a million times, every single one of the people. Got it? Right. Very good. Now, says ovadia, the lulav that it is only permitted to return it to water as the law is different there. Since after placing it on the ground, after its commandment, it is forbidden to move it. And only for the beautification of the commandment they permitted to move it. But in other vegetables fit for eating, it is permitted. Here, Rashba says, listen. I have lulav. I shook it. After I'm finished, can I put it in water? Yom Tov.
Yes.
Holiday. Can I put it in the water or no? Bechor, what do you say?
Yes.
You're very good. You're following our Torah. Our Torah says it's allowed because Rashba says you don't want the mitzvah to dry. Huh? You don't want the mitzvah to dry. Bechor, what if I have alfiosh? Alfiosh.
Parsley. Okay.
Parsley. This parsley, if I'm not going to wet it, it's going to dry out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I wet it on Shabbat or no?
Put on the water.
Put spray такой.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you just say.
Чтобы он ожил.
You just say.
Я там этим что был.
На живой который? Или который сорвали?
Huh? Тот же день. Can I spray on it?
Yes.
What if it is already 2 days outside? Не в тот же день. 2 days outside. 3 days outside. Он уже תחיית המתים сейчас, уже умирает он.
What the reason to do that?
Keep it fresh. I want to put it in salad. I want to serve it on the table as a nice design. I want to put my food and then put alfiosh leaves next to it to make design.
No.
Can I do that or no? If it's dried out, it's a какой design, мертвый design you're giving me.
It's not cold.
It's not gonna help. You can do it. There is no.
It's we'll give it to it תחיית המתים shoot.
It's not in the ground.
מחיי מתים ברחמים
Maybe
רבים.
2%.
Huh?
Okay, technically you can do it.
So says Ravadia, listen. Rashba said you're allowed to take the lulav,
Put it in the
to
water.
put it inside the water. Why? Because for the mitzvah lulav, not to dry out.
Right.
Mitzvah. Alfiosh is a mitzvah. The kuzbara is this mitzvah. The parsley is this mitzvah.
It can be for the sake of eating.
Huh?
Yes.
For the bach.
Yes.
Well, Shabbat, you're not making bachs.
To eat. A salad, whatever.
Huh?
To eat for the sake of food.
Oh. So says Ravadia, even though Rashba said the lulav you're allowed to put inside the water because of a mitzvah, you know why he needed this to say because of a mitzvah? Do you eat the lulav?
No.
So why are you allowed to move it?
Same bracha.
How are you allowed to put it in the water? Kakol bracha. Finish mitzvah, finish.
So it doesn't dry out?
After I finish the mitzvah, can I put it in the water?
Yeah.
The Rashba says allowed. Why? Because mitzvah. We don't want the mitzvah of Hashem to be dead. We want it to be nice. Okay, that's mitzvah. Alfiosh is not a mitzvah.
It's mitzvah to eat.
Says ovadia. Nevertheless, it's allowed. Daja, it's not a mitzvah. Even if it's not a mitzvah. Why?
What did he say?
Even if it's not a mitzvah, it's allowed.
Nevertheless.
Moshe.
I told you.
Yeah, you told us the right answer this time.
Safari.
Why?
You're Kohen, but that's my heart.
Attentive. Я 2 слова занес проверить, catch me or no.
He's common sense like it.
Is it considered to be kasher or no? Says already allowed. Why? It says by the lulav, you're not eating it. So we need to have a reason why you move lulav in water on Shabbat. Shot the jellies. It's a muktzeh. No, Rabbi John, I want the mitzvah not to dry. That's why it's allowed for the lulav purpose. However, the alfiosh, the parsley, these things you eat.
It's also mitzvah.
So because you're eating,
Onek Shabbat.
right? Because you're eating, you don't need the reason to claim, oh, for it not to dry out, it's a mitzvah, it doesn't look good. No, it's food. Can I take apple and wash it on Shabbat? Yeah. Well, you're taking apple, you're wearing it. Shut the jellies. What's the problem? I wash an apple, I want to eat it. Shabbat, why not?
That's the answer. That's it.
Got it? Therefore, bottom line, Bechor, a person is allowed to take dry parsley, dry any dry leaves that he wants to make them wet, in order for them to look fresher, nicer, no problem. Allowed.
Hey, what about the flowers?
What about the flowers?
They're not edible. You're allowed to move it. Spray them with the water.
With water, yeah.
Yeah, how come?
Because it's beneficial right now. Not the mitzvah point of it, like the Rashba justifies the lulav movement. Not because of the mitzvah, rather because I'm going to use it. Lulav I'm not using. Sure, I already did mitzvah. It's finished. So what's your justification to move it and put it in the water? What's the answer? Because I don't want the mitzvah of Hashem to dry out. And why are you moving flowers on Shabbat? Because I want the beauty of it, to beautify my house. Bechor, it's good to buy flowers for your wife every Friday, if she likes it. Some women don't like it. Some women like it. So it depends on the woman.
So why if the gold is in the ground, you cannot with the for beauty?
You just ask about.
Because you are a problem of Zoreya. Zoreya tzedakot. Why?
So I'm asking right now.
Your questions are
You're
answered.
allowed to spray?
Если мы сейчас возьмем цветочку, будем за ним ухаживать, он агрый был, правильно?
Right?
Когда за цветочком ухаживаем, это репрезентирует ее мужа. Она ему гладит, стираем, убираем, причесывает, это репрезентирует.
Она его убирает.
Вау, яфе.
Да. Поэтому они, а с каким цветком репрезентирует женщину, знаете? Розочка. Почему?
Why?
Она вкусно пахнет, но когда у нее там есть иголочки, меня не трогай, я упалю.
Поэтому очень много бухарских назвали своих дочерей Роза.
Она диди. Меня не трогай, гуфта. Here, it says the Jewish woman is like roses. Why?
You say yeah.
Looks good, smells good, but there are times that there are thorns that you're not allowed to touch. Nida.
If this growing on the ground, you allowed to spray it?
Now, chas v'shalom, lo alenu
Technically
alechem.
speaking, he
Lo
says,
alenu
Same thing. What are
alechem.
you doing? You're not.
Oh,
we will ask.
shalom alechem. Man, why is it allowed? Not allowed? Whenever, huh? Because of zoreya.
אבל זה לא זורע, אתה עושה לה פרח.
Oh, anything that helps the perach to grow, to become stronger, to become nicer when it's attached to the ground, it's zoreya. Come Chorov, come Jonah.
But it's not helping.
It helps, it helps. Why are you doing it? Because it helps. It looks better, it looks nice.
Look fresh. Not looking
Mr. Mirakov,
Yes, sir.
how do I remember her last name?
I don't know.
Baruch atah.
It's in here. Registered.
Register?
Okay, let's go. Shalom, John, how are you? Leilu Nishmat.
сам слушай. Попробуйте.
Bravo, Mio.
Is it permitted to water aromatic trees or flowers? The same law applies to aromatic trees or flowers that are fit for use on that day. It is permitted.
That's the question.
Many later authorities did not mention the aforementioned Rashba.
It doesn't say detached. I assume it's detached. Right?
Oh, yeah. That's a detached. You're right. Yeah, you have to edit it. Дай мне это, пожалуйста. I'll make it. I'll type it in. Koinov, you with us?
They ask on Shabbat if you replace the water from the flour.
Oh, not allowed to.
You cannot replace the water. Sadiq, you cannot replace
The water is usable. When you put it inside the
What if I come to my wife
You made it
after
not
Shabbat? Will she put the flowers in the water?
yeah, this was said. Ask Bechor. Bechor knows already.
Она уже полезная.
It's a big machlokut.
No machloket. Why you make machloket?
Слушай, если там есть корень, ты не можешь поставить. Если он полезный,
Если цветы отрезаны, он говорит можно. Я говорю, корни дадут, он говорит, корни цветы не дают.
Цветы не дают корни.
Эмет, Хагай is right. Корни не дают, цветы не дают.
человека посадите рядом.
Идем, Какилов.
Он хочет рядом с вами быть.
Okay. So let's see. The same law applies to aromatic trees or flowers that they are detached, detached, and detached from the ground, or detached is already enough.
Yes.
Detached and fit for use on that day. It is permitted.
Что там внутри?
Мясо.
Maybe I should say, and not like many, and not as many later opinions.
What does it mean? Many later.
Achronim. How do you say achronim? Achronim rabim. How do you say in Hebrew? In English, achronim rabim.
Later authorities.
The later authorities, yeah.
Many later authorities.
Right.
Maybe I should just say many achronim and put in parentheses
No,
later
but
authorities.
many later authorities did not mention the aforementioned Rashba. What does it mean? Did he mention it?
They restricted it. They said flowers you're not allowed to water with a spray, even though they're detached.
Why? Because they grow, or it looks like.
Because the Rashba said that the only reason you're allowed to, the lulav, you were not here at the beginning of the class, it said because of the mitzvah part. Lulav is going to dry out, it's not going to look good, the mitzvah of Hashem is going to stay dry. Sounds like, ooh, it's only because of mitzvah. What if it's not mitzvah? What if it's alfiosh? So they said not allowed to, it's not a mitzvah. Rabbi Yosef says, I'm sorry, you didn't see the Rashba. Rashba explained the reason why it's mitzvah by lulav, because you have no other usage for it. After you shook the lulav on that Yom Tov, on that Shabbat, whenever you used to shake it on Shabbat also, what was the need to move the lulav after that? You have no mitzvah anymore. You're not eating it. It's not beautiful to beautify something with it. So that's why you needed a reason. Oh, it's for the mitzvah, not to dry out. But I don't need anything else to be also a mitzvah for it not to be dried out. Even if it is alfiosh, that is not a mitzvah. I'm not shaking alfiosh.
But the mitzvah is over. After Chag already.
No, in Shabbat of the Chag. Why after Chag? Yeah, in the middle of the Chag you have Shabbat.
It should be do not mention. It says did not. No, many later authorities did not.
I'm going to write like this. And many achronim. Achronim.
Do not.
Have not. Have not, I think, right? In English?
No, do not. Did.
Who knows English well over here? Before you,
In the past.
I know.
50-50.
He's an American.
we need somebody that graduated college. Bechor.
You can say
These achronim are now achronim or
did
prior?
is singular. Did not. I did,
Did not? How do you say in English? Neria?
Many
Did not?
acronym do not.
Do not. Do not mention the information Rashba, and that's why they restricted it. And that's why they restricted it. However, halacha is like the Rashba. However, in practice, we follow the Rashba. Yaakov, got it?
Yeah.
Very good.
Is it clear?
No, you, Yaakov. Aminov.
I'm sure he's got it too. Halacha.
Very good. Number 22. Bechol already did 22 pages in Chazon Ovadia.
Wow.
In 2 days, 3 days, already 22 pages you covered. This system works very fast and very good. Okay, Bechavod, is it permitted to rinse meat on its day of slaughter if the third day being on Shabbat? On it, if the day of slaughter, if the third day of its slaughter being on Shabbat. Huh?
What does it mean on its day of slaughter?
No, that's a mistake. If the third day of its slaughter, shchita,
Falls on Shabbat.
На третий день шаббат
No,
попал.
but it's not.
you know, Rabotai, a person made shchita bechor, how many days he can make shtunamak? How many days he can make something?
2 days.
72 hours.
But 72 hours fall on Shabbat.
Very good. This guy, you know how people procrastinate things? Paga, and begin paga. That's what I became. Yo, I forgot the meat over there. I didn't make shtunamak. My husband's going to kill me. Babulia is worried about this. What are we going to tell to Babulia?
Babuli, no problem. For you, mutar.
Why mutar bechor?
Because if you make it like this, Chazat Akbar.
You rinse meat
Chayav mita.
on its third day of its slaughter.
Так и записать, но выходит.
On meat on
On the third day after being slaughtered, when it falls on
the
Shabbat,
third day
Так и записать.
of its slaughter being on Shabbat.
Если это шаббат попал, он может в морозильник поставить. Потом пройдет, он будет его что?
No.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Huh?
Good point. But you know, Bechor, when freezing works, only whenever it froze.
Yeah,
Listen to this.
that's true.
Wednesday, 5 p.m., the Shohet made shechita. When is the deadline for this meat?
Wednesday, Shabbat.
Скажи правильно.
Tuesday, Friday. Shabbat.
Huh? Shabbat when?
5 o'clock.
5 p.m. Shabbat 5 p.m. is the deadline. Good? The guy says, yo, I'm going to miss it. What am I going to do? Shabbat comes out 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. What am I going to do? Now he takes it, puts it in the freezer. Listening to Bechor.
No,
Shabbat, he puts it in the freezer.
no, not Shabbat. Before Shabbat, put in the freezer.
He remembered on Shabbat. If before Shabbat, do it now.
No, you cannot do it.
He remembered on Shabbat. So Bechor comes up with a solution. Tell the guy, put it in the freezer. Sure. Процесс остановится of 72 hours. Bechor, how long if I take raw meat, put it in the freezer? How long is it going to become hard, froze?
Couple of hours, 2 hours.
Вот у нас профессор в этом.
Maybe 3-4 hours.
Guy, how long is it going to take?
3 hours.
Raw meat, put it in the freezer to become hard, coming. 2-3 hours.
If you have
6 hours is it?
if you have the freezer, they have some freezer. It's a minute. You bring inside, it's frozen.
A minute?
Yeah.
No,
It's
what do you
special,
do?
yeah, special freezer.
Maybe this commercial.
Commercial freezer, yeah. Not home.
At home. At home, сколько времени
Никто
возьмет?
не минут.
5-6 hours?
Зашел, через минуту
Huh?
заморозить.
He's saying the size of the meat
That's
also
also, you're also right. Nachon, you're correct.
Big,
6 hours.
it's
So,
like this, 2 hours is enough.
let's say the big piece, 6 hours. Nachon? Good. He put it at, he looks at the time, maybe 4 p.m., 5 p.m., it's going to be deadline. Hi, let me listen to Bechor. I'm going to put it inside the freezer. 5 p.m. came. The meat froze?
No.
No. Is it kosher?
No.
So, finito. You cannot kosher it after. Only alaish, only shashlik you can do. If I want to make it right now, put it on osvo, I want to put it on palo, I want to put it, not allowed to cook it anymore, habibi. 72 hours passed, and that meat was not frozen, salted or frozen. Good?
At least it's not a total waste.
Now listen to this. The guy says, Rabbi, comes to you Shabbat morning. Rabbi, I made shechita on Wednesday 5 p.m. My name is Gash. I forgot. I'm a human being. Zabur. Чё мне делать? The rabbi says, listen, if you're going to put water on it, it's going to restart 72 hours. When do we say 72 hours? It's a problem only whenever it is straight 72 hours and no water was on top of it. If 72 hours was interrupted with water, no problem. Now question is, can you make that meat get wet on Shabbat?
No.
The alfiosh, we said you're allowed to wet.
Yes.
The parsley. What about your meat?
No.
מותר.
No, I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because it's become reaction, all this, you're creating stuff.
Very good. Halacha is like an area that you're not allowed to. Why, Bechor? Tell him there, explain to him why.
Потому что она структуру свою поменяет.
Реакция происходит, брожение происходит, это происходит, то происходит. You're creating something.
Very good. Because you made something that it is going to be not kosher to become kosher, you're changing the status of it. Family. I'll give you another
It's still
example.
kosher. It's still kosher.
It's not kosher. After 72 hours, it's not kosher anymore.
Right. But it's not 72 hours yet.
Nachon. But if it's going to be, and you know it's going to be non-kosher.
But now it's
But
kosher.
now it's kosher.
It's not kosher. You got to mix to nama. Can I cook it right now and eat it?
Well, can I cook it in
I can do.
Cook it right now, Shabbat. Can I do alayish? I can do right now.
Вы одно спасаете, а
So
другое
now I have no way to
нарушаете.
fix it. The only way I can fix it is either I freeze it, but it's going to take 6 hours if it's a big piece,
What about if
No,
you
but
do?
or I'm going to put water on
But
it.
it's
What about
Shabbat,
Rabbi?
but let's say it was a regular day. Can I cook
Yeah,
this
regular
meat?
day
It's
you can do
kosher.
it,
It has
sure you
all
can
the
do it.
properties.
No, you cannot. You got to make shtunamak. If you didn't make salting and in the washing, you cannot use cook it.
What about if you do slice, put in the freeze, in 2 hours gonna be froze?
Okay? Если время есть.
Да.
Slice время берет делать.
20 minutes.
בסדר. 4 p.m. the guy remembered.
No.
A 5 p.m. deadline.
Deadline. Поставить.
4 p.m. he remembered.
But they declare-
Ему 20 минут резать, уже 4:20 пока станет.
It's not gonna work no matter what they do. It's not gonna work.
So let's see the answer. Says ovadia. It is permitted to rinse meat on its third day after slaughter on Shabbat by a goy.
Что стало?
Гоя позови, скажи, вот так сделай. Веураху мехапер авон вело яшхис.
По-вашему,
Зо
или
халифа.
по-
Это по нашей Торе, по нашей Торе.
Rinse your hands over it.
That's solution number one. Goy, calling a goy to fix that meat by pouring water over it.
Можно? Он не имеет права.
Huh?
Он не имеет права.
Why not?
Почему он должен делать? Он вообще не имеет права готовить.
Он не готовит. He pours water. Open the sink. Воды просто.
Спасать мясо, спасать мясо.
Не будет
Все.
солить, не может.
No, he's just gonna put water for the process of 72 hours to restart,
Rabbi, Osher has a
for not to dry out.
Why you need go him if you have a time, deadline, ты можешь вот сам.
Какой-то лайсенс.
Как? 4 p.m. he remembered. 5 p.m. is deadline. Когда он это успеет сам делать?
No, мы сказали, Shabbat.
You're not allowed to. If you, Yaakov, if you Jewish gonna pour water on it, you made it fixing on Shabbat. You fixed it on Shabbat.
Шаббат на дром доколе.
Shabbat, what are you about Shabbat, Johnny Halfish?
Вспомнил, шаббат.
Мы говорим, шаббат зашел.
Rabbi, quick question.
Yeah.
So you buy the meat, you have to salt it right away
Sold it within 72 hours.
within the 72 hours. If you don't salt it within the 72 hours
Then it's not allowed for cooking anymore. So,
for cooking, but for shashlik you could still put it in
you're right. But then,
without salting it.
If you're buying the meat after the shechita, the same time you sing the shechita.
No, I get
Sometimes they
I get
sell the meat.
sheep. I cut them right there on the
Nah,
spot.
this one, yeah.
Now I don't do anything with it. I just take that meat and I put it direct, cut it, put it into palishki and put it in shashlik.
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem.
No problem.
You don't need to salt it.
You don't need to salt.
No.
right, because the fire is going to
burn
take
it,
out
burn
the blood.
But if you're doing kazak kebab or if you're doing something, then you have to salt. You have to.
Kazak was
Only
kazak.
obligate fire, because fire kill everything.
You're just making cooking.
But
boiling,
pot
cooking.
doesn't kill nothing.
Boiling,
Straight fire.
cooking, what are you doing?
You're cooking the meat.
Cooking the meat, you gotta make shtunamak.
You have to.
Within the
Must.
72 hours, you must.
Must.
Потому что there is no contact with the straight fire. Shish kebab allowed
Только
because
огонь
contact
можно
with the
было,
straight
да.
fire.
Right.
А through the kpat it's blocking.
Exactly. Yeah.
Фризер в шаббат открывать.
Если smoking, тоже
Что
можно.
можно?
Фризер в шаббат.
Freezer.
Открывать можно, да.
Oh, what's the problem?
Проблема.
Why?
Открывать, получается.
Ah.
Always arguing.
So listen, listen.
Когда вы открываете, у вас махшава не включить, это махшава. А у вас махшава открыть, что-то вытащить засунуть.
By Jewish law, listen to this. I forgot your name. I am Michael. Michael John, listen to this. On Shabbat, we have different concepts. We don't care about did you get to the result or not. We care about how did you get to the result. You understand this? For a person that looks from outside, he says, at the end of the day, he did it. What? Who cares? How did he get there? Takti prishol. And at the end of the day, you're there. You did that action. Says the Jewish law, it matters how did you get to that action. And I explain to you. Do you know, whenever you're flushing your toilet, he comes out, right? He's not going to leave what he did over there now. Derech Eretz, right? He has to clean after himself. He's going to flush the toilet. Do you know, whenever you live in a building, 6th floor, 10th floor, how the water gets all the way to the 10th floor? Did you ever ask yourself? You're right now going to flush the toilet. New water is going to come up or no? How is it coming up?
With the pressure.
Pressure. How the pressure works?
Pressure works not for this toilet. Pressure water on the building, not for this.
Let's say only you. You own a house, 10 floors. You. Nobody else. Oh, everybody Jewish.
Okay.
In Miami, there's a building, Tower 41. You ever been over there?
Yeah.
Everybody Jewish.
Okay.
The guy lives on the 10th floor in Tower 41, Miami. He flushed the toilet. How the water goes all the way to his toilet right now? The answer is electrical pump. Rabbi, when I going to turn on the water, electrical pump is starting to work. How am I allowed? What are you going to say? The answer is, my kavanah was not for this electrical pump. My kavanah was to take the water that I have in the tank to go to the toilet. Tamam, that was my kavanah. Now, do you take the new water from the electrical basement, from the pump? Do you take it by hand?
No.
Or it's automatic happens after 2-3 seconds? How does it happen?
Automatic.
Oh. So says ovadia, there is a concept in halacha called pasik reshe in grama. What does it mean? I do one thing. Automatically another thing happens, but it doesn't happen right away. It takes 2-3 seconds for delay until it happens. If it was not your kavanah, if it was not your intention to turn that system, no problem. It says ovadia, same thing is the freezer, refrigerator, any of the systems. I'll tell you more than that.
What about the light?
I'll tell you more than that.
Oh, exactly.
Just light.
Light тоже мы изучали.
I'll tell you more than that. A person has an oven. He bakes fish before Shabbat. Can you bake fish before Shabbat?
Yeah.
No problem. Shabbat comes, your wife wants to take out the fish from the oven. She tells you, Michael John, when I'll take out the fish, the system, the sensor is temperature is gonna drop. And the fire is gonna go up. Fire, allo, я вижу вот такой огонь там. Can I open the oven in order to take out the fish or no? Shkunam.
Yes, you can.
I want to serve the people Shabbat. Гости у меня, люди у меня, что мне делать?
Because she
You
said
can't
this,
reopen
now
it
she put
afterwards.
What's the
herself.
answer?
Because she said this, she put herself in that.
What's the answer?
No.
You
Allowed.
Yes, you are allowed. It was already.
Как? Я огонь
Зачем она
включается.
сказала?
То же самое стиральная машина. Ты можешь
The answer
поставить.
is because when she opens the door, what is her machshava, her intention?
Take it
To
out.
turn on fire or to take out fish? What's her kavanah?
Fish.
Take out the fish.
Yeah, but you just
Rabbi
said
John,
Yeah, right.
is that fire going to turn on right away or it's delayed? Sensor has to realize, has to send a message, has to
Delay.
turn on the header.
Delay.
Delay. That's called grama. Это не сразу directly, это indirectly. Got it? However, what if there is a light? A person opened the oven, boom, light went on.
Like this.
Huh?
I'm not talking about light inside. I like light of this. Do you use light?
No, if a person right now open the door of the refrigerator or the freezer, right, and the light, boom, turns on, that's a problem.
Чтобы он не включился, надо вытащить из розетки и тогда вытащить из духовки. Тогда не будет нарушения никакого.
Said it, but do you have to do that?
No.
Do you have to remove it from the electricity?
Why not?
So according to our Torah,
Это не горит, если можно вытащить. То же самое с холодильником.
So,
Если не включенный,
so
вытащить
according
из
to
розетки,
our
можно
Torah,
открывать.
you're not obligated. You want to do it, go ahead. But it's not obligated to
No,
do.
he means on
Famidei.
Shabbat.
A person wants to do, пожалуйста, делай, что хочешь делай.
Not
How on
Shabbat.
Shabbat you can unplug?
Unplug is turned off. When he says when
No,
it's
no,
turned
no. On
off,
Shabbat he wants to unplug it, he's saying.
yeah, when the system is turned off, it's no problem to unplug. He's not doing it.
No, there is a watch there is something, some button.
If there is watch, then something is on.
It cannot
What
be.
did I say? When the system is completely
Там
off.
display signals, там there's something
Я
there.
об этом говорю, выключен и вытащишь из розетки.
Как он может быть выключен? Он
So,
работает сигнал.
Михаил Джон, according to our Torah,
but it's not gonna work.
я еще раз повторяю, может на русском легче будет, побыстрее тоже. По нашей Тора нету запрета это открыть с холодильника, даже если мотор там включится, потому что этот мотор сразу не включается, там идет процесс. 2-3 секунды там идет дилей. На русском не знаю, как дилей вам сказать.
С опозданием.
А?
Задержка с опозданием.
Когда идет мое махшава, это его не включить. И она включается с поддержкой, по попаданию. Тут 3 seconds away, it's considered to be pasik yoshe begramma. Когда я дверь холодильника открываю, свет сразу включается, это сразу встает. Это называется pasik yoshe, это запрещено. Но если это pasik yoshe begramma with a delay, then it's not a problem. You don't need to unplug anything, to move anything. Halakha says it's 100% allowed. And it's allowed even if it's in your favor. Даже если тебе это сейчас выгодно, что сейчас мотор включился и твои вещи не испорчутся в мороз. Потому что это сразу не стало. Это через delay идет. That's a problem. Because it's immediately happens. That's before Shabbat. You turn off the lights. You have to ask how to do that.
Хорошо, есть плиты, которые вперед газ. Постоянно открывать газ, закрывать можно.
On Shabbat? So, I'll explain to you another concept. According to our Torah, everybody, по нашей Тора, нельзя человеку добавлять огонь. Добавлять, не включать. Добавлять или унижать. Меньше сделать, я не знаю, сократить, whatever. Нельзя в шаббат его побольше сделать, нельзя в шаббат его меньше сделать. По нашей Торе это запрещено. Когда человек имеет фитиль маленький, он будет добавлять сейчас газ, он что делает? Этот огонь, он его увеличивает. Это нарушение Торы в шаббат, как будто он зажег этот огонь. На Йом-Тов закон другой. На Йом-Тов, если уже горит, есть, добавлять на него нет проблем. Все, сейчас он проснулся, мы продолжим на иврите, на английском, окей? Что с ним нельзя хотеть?
האש כבר דלוקה שם, מה זה משנה?
אנגלית, please, אנגלית.
Why is the fire?
Where? In which one are you talking about?
In the gas, in the stove.
In the
We
stove?
have already the fire over there. It's
You're talking
on.
Shabbat, Yom Tov?
Shabbat.
Spoke about so many
No,
concepts.
Shabbat. Yom Tov, we
A
know.
person wants to open oven on Shabbat.
Not
What's your
oven,
question?
I'm talking about the stove.
Stove, open.
He has the blech. It has already fire inside. It's already on.
So what do you want to do?
Up, down, why is the problem? Up, down. It's already in.
So remember the rule. Increasing fire on Shabbat, asur deoraita. Mav'ir b'Shabbat. Increasing. Halakha says, I'll tell you more than that. If a person has right now a cup of oil, candle, on your voice, still in oil this. He wants to take the cup of oil of that candle from this side to this side. Can you do that on Shabbat or no? Miracle, what do you say?
No, but it's going to increase the fire.
He wants to move the oil lamp on Shabbat. Отсюда, сюда.
It's not allowed to do because it's going to increase or decrease the fire.
But the fire is on.
But by what you're saying,
When you're moving, the flame might go left and right. That we learned that
Very good. So he's asking, if I want to increase the flame that I have in the gas, I want to add more gas, and that fire is going to become bigger fire. What's the problem? It's already on. The answer is, the laws of Shabbat are different than the laws of Yom Tov. On Yom Tov, to add on fire, no problem. On Yom Tov. On Shabbat to end on the or the Chas v'Shalom decrease. That's a problem.
That's why he say if your wife love to put candle on the table, now she has to start up with the food and then she moving. That's a big. By the way, create a special place. Don't touch it. We learned that like 3-4 months ago.
Very good.
Батюшка, огонь работает, и это так упало. Можете поднять?
No, Shabbat нельзя. Shabbat нельзя. Поехали, работай, шалом бай. Yeah.
So you open this oven. Your wife takes out the fish. Intention just to take the fish out. The flame goes up. She closes it. Can you reopen it now?
Yeah. That's a problem to reopen it.
Because the temperature is going to constantly keep.
А где эти учебники по-английски, шалом батюшка?
Over here.
Будем раздать?
Says Rabbi Arush, a woman's joy and vitality come from the honor she receives. Page 109. Honor, уважение.